Hey there, welcome to the table. I'm gonna pull out a game that I've done multiple playthroughs for already. It's one of my favorites. That's why I always come back to it. Uh, and it's also inspired because DVG just released Eagle Leader, which I did not back. I even remember one of the viewers, Andrew, asking me if I backed it, and I said no. And the reason I gave is it's too much like the other leader games, which is true. There's some sameness to all these leader games. Um, the thing is I really enjoy leader games, so that sameness can be a good thing. And even right now, I have an itch to play Eagle Leader, but then I saw the price, and I'm like, okay, I'm all right with with not buying it right now. Um, but I sort of wish I did have Eagle Leader right now because I would like to try it. I think the F-16s are an awesome plane and probably one of the best ever made for what it was designed to do. Um, but no matter how much I play these leader games, I have like the Israeli Air Force leader, um, B-17 leader being the only exception because I think that game is awesome in its own different way because I think it adds so much depth to the leader series. I do enjoy Spruance leader. I did some playthroughs of that. Uh, there were some error issues that I think got fixed. I never, kept up with the fixes on that. As you can see, I have Phantom Leader here, which I think was is also in its own right a great game. It's obviously it's Vietnam centric, um, but to me, Hornet Leader is still the king. Um, I know that the helicopter one Apache Leader um, has its merits because it's got some really ingenious stuff to it. But we're gonna do Hornet Leader, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do sort of like a variation that I designed, and I wanted to share it with you. Um, so the situation here is that North Korea and Russia, and you could throw in Iran if you wanted as well, and I'll show you how you could do that. But in this scenario, I think we're going to go with North Korea and Russia. But I'll at least show you the Iran thing, and maybe I'll make a game time decision there. So what they did is they decided that they are sick and tired of the United States policing the world and telling them what to do. So they were able to figure out how to create a time machine. Now this is inspired by the whole, the USS Enterprise went back in time to World War II. And so you had this modern aircraft carrier dealing with, World War II stuff. So if you are familiar with that movie and that concept, this is playing on that. So the United States is under attack in multiple uh, times, and what's all that is to say is we're going to play multiple campaigns at once. That's really all it boils down to, is we're going to play multiple campaigns at once. Now, when you're doing Tabletop Simulator, now first of all, if you have your physical copy, you're limited to just two. That's why I said North Korea and Russia, because there's only two target decks. If you have the 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 Hornet Leader Air expansion, um, it comes with a second deck of targets, and those targets are completely different than the first deck, which is very very cool, and that allows you to play two campaigns together. And so I recommend doing the North Korea 2014 or 13 or whatever it is, and the World War III. Put those two together and play that. Um, when you're on Tabletop Simulator, we can clone things and make as many decks as we want. Um, I did this with Europa Universalis and a couple other games as well. So you got a little more flexibility when you go into the digital format here. Um, but with your physical copy, you can for sure do this. But like I said, you're limited to just your two decks, assuming you have the expansion. Now, I think that you could still do a third campaign with the two decks. Um, you just have to get a little creative there. And the way you can get creative is by rolling dice. And so you're not actually shuffling a deck and drawing, you're just rolling dice. And it's doable. If there's a will, there's a way. You can even make like a table chart, etc. Anyways, on Tabletop Simulator, there are two mods. There's this one, which has the actual picture of the game. It is a great mod, but I do like Loric's mod better. And he will even put his credits that it's based off of this mod. So Loric just took this mod and he did some more things to it, which I like. He also added a bunch of stuff I don't like, but we'll show you and take care of it. So let me load it up. So this is what it looks like. So the idea here is you got your campaign sheets here. This guy, for whatever reason, just really loves his random number generators. He's got one, two, he has three of them. So you hit the L key to unlock something. So I'm going to hit L on this, and then I'm going to delete it. I don't need three random number generators. I only need one. So I'm going to just, I don't even know if I need one, to be quite honest. Do that. I don't play with this expansion. So you hit L to unlock it. Whoops. And then just throw it off in a corner. Because if we do change our mind, we could always come back to it. But I just like throwing stuff I'm not using off to the corner. These are special for special missions. I do appreciate that he put those here. The first mod does not have these out. I don't know where they are, but they're not here. This is a carryover from the first mod. The other thing he did was he added I don't even know what this is. Let me check. Yeah, that's just garbage. So this is oh, I see. These are just red cubes that you can put on here to show that we spent points on this or we spent points on that. It's a lot of overkill. So I'm going to hit L on this, and let's move this out of our primary play zone. It's a great idea. It's not necessary to be all the way up front here. Now, what this is meant to serve as is okay. So let's say we pick our campaign. I'm going to go ahead and lock these things down again. So then what I would do is whoops, lock. Now I'm going to lock. All right. So here I can pull one of these out and say, okay, I'm doing a long campaign. I'm going to do Navy. That's what it's saying. I just bought an F-18. I'm going to do, I don't even know. Like a lot of these are just options that you can do to make the game easier or harder. These are also different options. And as you know, I actually don't do any of them. The one thing I don't know is like what's large deck Marines. I'll have to look that one up. And then here you can see like this is for you to write stuff down. Like keeping track of your victory points and all that jazz. And here you can see, blah blah blah. So that's all this is meant to do. It's fluff. So get rid of it. Okay, next thing. He's got this campaign length thing here again. Not necessary. I'm not going to delete anything because we might end up using it for some other purpose, but I am going to move it out of the way. All right, so what are we doing here? Why am I doing this? We're basically making room for the mega campaign that I'm designing. So he's got he created compared to the first mod, he created these. So what this has meant is for you put your pilots here that you're going to send to the primary target, and then these are the pilots that are going to go to the secondary target. The whole thing is for planning purposes. I sort of like the idea. It's a lot of real estate space, so I'm just going to move it. Actually, I don't know how do you delete that text? That's an interesting problem. mean, you got active targets up here, and then he's got this here. Like, he just like has things repeated over and over again, multiple times. So let me figure out how to get rid of the text. Okay, so it's saying to go to the text tool. So if I click on this, there we go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. So what am I doing here? Why are we doing it? Just bear with me because some of this stuff is junk. And I'm just moving it. All right. So one of the things I love about this mod and the other one is it comes with this. This is a really neat way to manage your pilots, etc. And you can see it's some people actually in the physical copy they buy these 3D printed versions that do a similar thing. Very, very cool concept. Totally love it. Um, Obviously the victory points is a big giant, thing here, and I don't know if there's a way to move this. There we go. So that's your victory points. And then what this guy did in this mod, which the other guy did not, is this is for tracking your experience, which is very, very nice. And then, of course, stress is still handled the old-fashioned way with these. Um, this is, they gave you a bunch of dice, which is really funny because you don't need anything but D10s for this game. Occasionally you might need these other dice. I don't know why they give you a bunch of different types of dice. But okay, so how does this work and what's going on? And again, why did they give us 3 copies of these? I do not know. However, and by the way, it's page up, page down when you select something to move through the different ones. So we're going to do North Korea 2013. So North Korea, of course, is doing shenanigans. We're going to have to deal with that. So why am I picking this? This is letting us use the... Remember, this game, Hornet Leader, has basically three games in one. It's got a Marine campaign, which is all Harrier jets. It has 1986 and previous, which is the Tomcats, and then it's post Tomcats, which is what this is, which has a little bit of stealth. Not quite as much as some of the other games, but it has some. So we got North Korea 2013, and then over here we can again do the same thing. So let me go through real quick. So like for example, here's Iran 2014. Remember I told you we could throw Iran in the mix? That is possible. We could try to do that. It's just an easy standard. And then let's see. There's another North Korea you could throw in. The Libya 1984 is just standard. Israel Defense Advanced. So this would be a good one you can mix in. So you're not using Iran directly, but you could easily see how if Iran, Russia, and North Korea were to band together, Israel would for sure be in the target of the whole thing. So this is definitely one to consider. And then, of course, there's the World War III, which is the one I really like. So so here's what we can do. We can... the Navy is going to be handling North Korea. And then what I'm proposing is that the Navy will be handling World War III, and the Marines will also be handling World War III. So in this case, I would actually make a copy. So there'd be a Marine campaign of World War III and a Navy campaign of World War III. The other thing we can do is go back to the Israel Defense because it's 2001. I need to see my bear with me. I get serious about my Hornet Leader. I have all my notes on the pilots here. So in 2001, so the Harriers are good. Corsairs go to 1993. So you would lose the Corsairs. The Tomcats would still be in the mix. The Intruders would be gone. So the problem with 2001 is, well, it's not a problem per se, but you're going to have a mix of Tomcats and Hornets in 2001. It's going to be weird because you're going to have Tomcats available and Hornets available in 2001. Obviously, the Hornet C is available from 1983, so technically the Hornet C is available even in 1986. Um, that's also interesting. Now I understand why so the air expansion gives you World War III. That's 1980, and you're stuck using only Tomcats in that one. Um, what an interesting mix. So here the Hornet E's unlock at 2000. So you got these extra Hornets that are available after 2000, and then the Hornet F is available after 2001. And then I list my favorite pilots and why here. And then I even have this is my team of 10 that I usually form. And then I take both IWACs as my 11 and 12. So this is usually my team when I go out on things. But by doing this, I'm breaking it up a lot more. And anyways, let's what I wanted to check, and the reason I flipped over here is the years. Like what years or what planes are available during what years. So that's the reason why I don't do the Israel campaign as much as because this is one I'm like, man, I don't play this very often. That's because it's a weird time frame. So you have Tomcats and Hornets, and really there's no reason to take a Tomcat on this unless you really just want some air-to-air specialists, and then your Hornets are focused on air-to-ground. You do lose all your bombers, so the Hornets are going to be responsible for all the ground bombing. All right, so, and then what you also have is you have this up here. And what's this? Free special op points. Oh man, this guy added all kinds of stuff. Campaign day, hits on target left. I like all this. This is all very nice. So let's unlock this one. Whoop! I did not mean. Oh no. Oh no. I have no idea how the heck to stand that back up like he did. Oh gosh. I gotta move these bags. These bags are these bags are problem children for me. All right. Nope. Okay, so I don't know the keyword to like try to stand this up or what. Like, see, I can move the camera, but I don't know how to like manipulate this. Like I'm rotating it, for example. Oh, oh. The Alt key. The Alt key is doing that. It's the wrong direction. I'm using my mouse wheel. Function key is doing that. Actually, function key just does. I'm sure there's a way to do it. But anyways, let's just fix this. So we have these tokens which are, as you can see, are sized for this size board. If I come down here, the tokens are way too big. You can resize them if you really want to get into things, but basically, delete. And again, I don't know why he made so many of these. But he did. And then this here, if I unlock this, I lose having this available for us to look at like this. I do like that he made it look like, okay, if you're sitting at your desk, you can read these. But to be quite honest, I don't mind just having these, left to right. So the issue is I need 3 of these. And to have 3 of these means I need to have space for 3 of them. So how do I make space? Here's the thing: when you're using your thing, the L button locks and unlocks. So right now this is unlocked, and if I hit L, now it's locked. See, I can't pick it up anymore. And if I hit L again, now I can pick it up. So that's the first thing to understand. L locks and unlocks. Second thing is I want to be the game master. That gets me out of the table here. It had me sitting at the table over here. I don't want to do that. So that's your first thing. And then the next thing is when you right click on something, click on clone. That'll make a copy. So for example, I want another copy because we're going to do a Marine campaign and we're going to do a Navy campaign. 2 Navy campaigns actually. So boom, boom, boom. We got our 3 sets of pilots. So now I just need 3 of these. This, I would love to just move a little bit to the left. As soon as I unlock, of course, that happens. And I guess I'll just put it here. We'll move this over. Lock. And then we're going to go ahead and clone. 2, 3. Whoops. Yeah, see, this is a player area, which is a little annoying. So it's moving it over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that over there and this over here. Okay. So like even this, he's got campaign length here, right? I'm just deleting everything so I can make room. All right, now we're going to lock that in. All right, so then we have recon, intel, infra, and then I'm going to go ahead and clone this and put one there and another one there. And then clone this to put another one there, another one there. Clone this, put another one there, and another one there. All right, so what's the order I want these in? Okay, so I want this one to be North Korea, both of these to be World War III. And we're good to go. So these set of pilots are for this campaign, this set for that, this set for that. Can I make this look nicer? Absolutely. Do you really want to sit here and watch me move stuff around? No, you don't. Can I pause this so I can move this around for you? Sure, but you're not paying me, so I'm not going to do that. I want to just get started. Let's play. The rules, they also did a weird job with this. The rules are not like your typical rulebook. And what I mean by that, and let me lock this in, because you don't want to move these around. Um, Normally you hit a little button and it pops up on your screen so you could read it. Instead, I got to zoom in like this, and then you got to use page up, page down. See, page down moves down and up, and then see, everything's fuzzy. They didn't do a really good job of copying the rulebook. The first mod guy did that screw up. Now, these dice, I'm going to keep them somewhere. I just don't think I'm going to need them. I do need this dice. These dice. I don't like this as a so I'm just hitting L on all these. I want that whole thing gone. Um, and then that lets me come over here and make more room for that. And make more room for that. Okay. Now see here, this is where you need your cubes. And I deleted the bag of cubes. So, let's see, objects, components, red square. Does this work? It's way too big. There we go. All right, so now I can just clone that if I need more of those. And I will. We'll worry about that later. Now for the dice. You can clone the dice as well. So here you can see I have 5 dice. I don't like the glare on them per se, but then you can come over here and do color tint. So for example, let's make a red. And let's come over here and color tint this one to green. And then we'll color tint that one to pink. Color tint this one yellow. Blue. I could leave the last one white, I guess. But I like the different colors. Let's do teal. All right, so now if I'm rolling dice and it's like, hey, you know, the green one's for the plane on the left and the blue one's for the plane on the right, it's nice to have different colors. So I think we're set up. The only other thing you got to worry about is for the enemy tokens. It's not a concern because you're only going to do one mission at a time, but you do have to be mindful of stuff like this. So remove the Mirage 3s, for example. So if you pull a Mirage 3 out of here, you're going to have to be mindful of that. That's the only caution I can give you. Now you could clone this and make multiple copies of the enemy tokens. Get rid of all the Mirage 3s because they're all in here, right? You can do it. Now this is extra painful because the Mirage 3 is the other side. So for example, if I pull this one out and then I flip it over, that's a no bandit, right? So somewhere in here are the Mirage 3s. And maybe that's what these are. Let me see. No. This is just here to indicate that's what's in the bag. So you're going to have to be mindful of that or go through the painstaking search in here to find the Mirage 3s and get rid of those. I would probably venture a guess it's one of these 3-range SA-10s. Maybe an SA-2. I actually don't know which one of the Mirage 3s. I should get out my physical copy. Um, I'm sure maybe the other side is all the same. And then, of course, when we're on the 2013, the Mirage 3s are not in this one either. Man, it makes me wonder what the heck uses Mirage 3s. They're not in the early campaign ones. They're not in the late campaign. They must be in the middle somewhere. And then here, 12 and 13 get drawn before the start of the campaign, and they begin the campaign and play. So you got some things like that that you're gonna have to contend with. Okay. The other thing is your target deck. So this is as simple as clone, and we need a target deck for 2013, which I'm going to go ahead and put here. And then we also need a target deck for these guys, which I'm going to go ahead and put here. And then, of course, we have this target deck, which will be affiliated with this one. The events we can share. I know we're going to burn through the event deck really quick, but that shouldn't be an issue. These are just shuffled, right? So nothing to worry about there. They do have some where you could shuffle all items. I don't know if that's going to work with me cloning things. They can clean weapons, clean pipe. I don't really care for most of these things that were implemented for automation, but it's there if you want to play with it. All other tokens are here, and you can see there's a... So this is just like a special... What this is meant to do is, okay, for this campaign, this one is a very special weapon. So it has some special rule to it. That's what this is meant. And then this here is, it's forbidden. So you can't use this in the campaign. So you have all these tokens here of the different weapons, right? And it's, remember, there's a front and a back. So that's what this is representing. So, for example, if these ones were off limits, you can drop this, you know, like that. Or we can drop it there to show that these two aren't used in this campaign. When you're doing 3 campaigns, this gets a little trickier, right? You got your special op points here. These are free special op points, which you can see the text was written. I'm just going to put that there. So those are free special op points. And then you have your hits on target and your campaign day. I don't think we need to worry about like length of campaign. We got all that up here. So the World War III is 12 days long, and this one is 15. So we got North Korea going 3 extra days. To win, you need to add up victory points for times 3, right? And so here you need 52 to get a grade evaluation. Well, now it's 104 between these two. And then this one's another 57. So you're going to need, 104 plus 57, which is 161, right? So you're going to need 161 victory points to win this thing. Now, what about special op points? Do you keep them separate for each campaign? And my recommendation to you is that yes, you should. And here's why. The Marines, when you play a Marine campaign, they have hundreds of special op points available. Like, they're rolling like Scrooge McDuck. They're swimming around in piles of special op points. Whereas these 2 campaigns are going to be, oh man, I wish I had just 2 more special op points. They're going to be very limited. Like, the Navy needs the special op points. They're like thirsty for them. Whereas the Marines are just rolling in it. It's like crayons for them. Gobble, gobble, gobble. So, and right here, cannot be carried by Hornets. So we got some rules, like, so the Hornets can't do Mavericks. But see that we'll get into that stuff when we start playing. But we got 12, 12, and 15. Now, what's the campaign day? We're going to progress them all at the same time. So on campaign day 1, we'll do 1 day of each, and so forth. Okay. Hits on target is based on the mission, so that'll just vary. Free special op points is also here. Like here, the first five cost 0. Here, there are no free special op points. So you could copy this, right, and paste it for each of the other 2 campaigns, but this really only applies to here. So we could just say, you know, there's 5 free special op points. What this is meant to do is like, okay, if I use one, I can move it down, and I got 4 more left. I mean, that's what this is meant to do. But don't worry about it too much. Okay. So have I covered everything, all your questions? This, of course, is the amount of special op points you have for this campaign. This number, of course, we're going to change. And we need to clone this. So let's get another one of these. Let's put it here, and let's put this one there. All right, so that's special op points for each one. We could try to, I mean, they did a real good job of putting the text in. I'm not, as you can tell, I'm not as good at, yeah, see, look, I'm writing underneath. There's probably a way to bring it to the surface. I'm not going to worry about that. We know what this is. It's special op points. Now, one thing that I did notice is these did not copy. Oh, that's a little brutal. So here you can see experience on the top, stress on the bottom. He actually has little doodads everywhere, and they didn't copy over. So I didn't mean to do that. There we go, clone. So we could, it's not pasting very well. So the bottom part isn't pasting very well, but the top part is. Like, that's pasting perfectly. For whatever reason, there's issues with the bottom. But as long as the top pastes, we're good. So, oh, Nelly. Okay. The keyword of stress is copying with it. Okay. So I'm going to right click to get rid of the clone, and then we got a little bit of work to do here. So in this case, you got to hit the L button to unlock, and then delete. L, delete. L, delete. I would do it quicker, but my one hand has to be on the mouse, and the other one is doing the keyboard here. And I noticed that this needs to move to here. You know what? If you, as long as you're not doing the clone thing, it does let you move them. I mean, if you really want to take the time to move every single one, you can get them all to fit perfectly. I don't know how much I really want to do that, even though I just did it with 4 of them. Okay. So we got all the stress ones in. Now we'll clone the experience ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. Okay, and then right click and we're done. right, there you go. We got experience. We have stress. Um, let's clone this cube. You need one on each spot. Now, technically, you don't need these cubes, and I'll show you in a second why. I like the cubes. That's why I'm pasting them here. But let me finish this, and I'll show you why in a second. And then, of course, the cubes are already over here on this one. I could have just cloned this. I didn't have to go create a new cube. Oh, yeah. All right. Couple other things, but let me finish my thought of explaining to you. So the pilot cards. So I'm going to grab Alien here. And what this game did is they gave you this card that looks like this. So what it's meant to do is you could drop this card in here like this. And it doesn't matter what rank he is, all of his stats are right here. So if he's an average, you just move this down to average and you just read that row. So you don't have to flip through all the different cards like you do in the physical game. The problem I found with these, it's a really cool idea, but whoever created this mod did a horrible job because, I'll show you. Let's see, newbie here needs 6 experience points to level up, and it says 2 right there. And then stress for OK is 0 to 3, and then 4 to 5 is shaken. Look at that, 0 to 1, and then 2. And then it says +1 air to air, -2 air to ground. That part's correct. So it got that part correct. But then look at the shaken. It turns into -2, -5. Here it's -1, -4. This card is full of a crap ton of errors. Like, you can't rely on this card. It's worthless. Now here, you use the page up, page down to flip. It's just one card, but you use page up, page down to flip between the different promotions. So what I recommend is you can put him here, and this cube is redundant, right? If he's an ace, it says ace right there. I mean, then you move that down, right, to show the same thing. But this cube is meant to be used with those cards. The problem is, like I said, I absolutely do not trust those cards because whoever made this did a horrible job. And maybe it's just that one. Like, let's see, Alpo is one I like to use. Let's look at this one. No, it's all broken. Look at the experience here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. None of them do that nonsense. Right here, newbie is 3, newbie 2. See, the card's broken. And man, I really love the idea. I just, they're just not usable. Okay, so one more thing. We have our target deck here. That's for North Korea. This target deck is for these guys, and maybe I'm gonna move it closer to here, just because I want to keep target decks with their respective campaign. The Marines, though, need to do something special. So right here, the Marines start with 58, 59, 60, 34, and 35. And I think I can search. It's not going to let me search, is it? Oh, here it is. So 58, 59. Uh-oh. You got to take them. Make sure you take them from the end first, because they renumber. So take the highest number first. So 60 also is supposed to be in the mix. And then 34 and 35, which those numbers should still be correct. Yeah, so I'm going to take 35 and 34. All right, so the way the Marine campaign works is these targets are not available to the Marines until at least half of the targets are destroyed. So I'm going to move these dice further out of the way. So all that to say, There we go. Just making sure. So we have 5 cards here, and those are the only targets that are available to the Marines at the start of the game. Now, one thing I would have liked to have known is how many of these are secondary targets. I don't know if any of them are, to be honest. So the way the Marine campaign works is you have to defeat half of these, which means 3. We have to defeat 3 of these, and then these targets in the next band get added. And then you, however many there are, you got to defeat half of all what's left. The 3 count towards the half, right? So you're adding this many more, and now you got to get to half again. And when you get to half again, then you add the next band. And so this final band here, you can't even get to this final band until you've already defeated all these other ones. So the Marines are progressive. They're, invading targets and marching like an island hopping campaign all the way through. Whereas these 2 Navy campaigns, they can hit targets anywhere. In any order. So that's why they have the whole deck available to them. So we have the 5 targets here. I believe I am allowed to... Let's look at these right here. There's a secondary. There's 1 secondary. Man, there's a lot of scrambles. Yeah, the Marines are going to be in trouble. When you draw a scramble, you're not allowed to draw anymore. So this campaign is going to be very, very cool. I don't play the Marines very often, and because I just like. So with the Marines, you have no variety. It's all Harriers. That's it. That's all you get. With the other ones, you get to try different planes and types. The thing I love about this mode of play, I'm doing all 3 phases that I love about, all 3 ways to play Hornet Leader. We're going to play all 3 ways at once. And so it checks all the boxes for me. All right, last thing we got to do before we start. Well, we got to pick our pilots. We got to do a lot of stuff. But when you're looking at this, targets 12 and 13 are in play. So we just got to make sure the numbers are, so 12 and 13 are in play. Now, why these are in play, I don't know. Normally they have, well, they do have penalties written on them. Maybe that's something. The rest of these are shuffled. And same with this. The rest of those are shuffled because there's no specific targets. Okay. Penalty, lose 1 VP. It's funny because I play so many leader games, I forget what the rules are for each one. Like, they start to get jumbled. There is a section here where they talk about the keywords. Friendly fire, improvement, overkill, objective, penalty. If you select the card for the mission and you do not destroy the target, you get the penalty. Alright, that's nothing. So, that's interesting that both of these are in play. So normally you draw cards, just 1. And then you have a recon value, which is here. So the recon value is 2. And I believe that means we get to draw up to 2 cards. So you draw 1, though, and I think you have to... Man, it's funny how quickly you forget. I know you have to spend SO points to draw more. But let's get to... So, let's see. Refer to the recon tech to determine the maximum number of target cards you can draw for the day. The number is shown to the right of the counter where the arrow is pointing. That's it. Examine each target and select one for your mission. And then the other one gets discarded. And then if you go to here, it says you can spend 2 SO points to draw 2 more. That's what it is. Okay. So by these being drawn already, I don't get to draw any more for the day. So on day 1, there is no secondary mission. I am either going to go after tanks or tanks. That's it. So day 1, I must do one of these 2 missions. And usually you're trying to get a secondary target. That's what you want to do. You draw your 2 cards, and you want secondary targets so you can get experience points with all your pilots. So North Korea is going to start a little on the slow side because we're only going to be able to do, well, actually, let me read it again. They begin the campaign in play. I don't know. I think I still get to draw 2 more. I think they just begin in play, and then I can draw 2 more. The only thing about these is that if you select them, the penalty happens. You don't get the penalty for refusing to select them. Let's make sure. If you select it for the mission. So that's weird that these 2 are available. They're not that great, these cards. Although you can get like an intel and recon bump, right? So it's guaranteed that you know you're going to get that. It's a dispersed vehicle. The dispersed is also a keyword. I always forget what the keywords do, but dispersed is every air-to-ground counter cannot inflict more than 1 hit. So, so if you're shooting, sometimes when you roll dice, you could do 1, 2, or 3 hits. With dispersed, you can only do 1 hit at a time. Okay, that makes sense. So now all we have to do is select our pilots and we're good to go. So with this being said, we're going to do long campaigns. So we have 80 SO points here. So I'm going to go ahead and just type that in right now, 80. And then for World War III, it's going to be 54. And same, oh, that's victory points. The whole 0 thing, it's just because of where I clicked. Okay, so what I recommend is pick these pilots first, because there's some overlap between the middle campaign and the advanced campaign. These, of course, can use the more advanced planes. The middle one can use Hornets, but so can these. So the original 1983 Hornets can be used here, and they can be used there. And so that's something you got to bear in mind. Now, the Marines, you don't have to worry. They use the Harriers, so they're a league of their own. With every campaign, and it's written here, when you do a long campaign, you're going to start with 12. 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. With 6 of them being average, you get 1 veteran, 2 skilled, etc., etc. So that is available, and that's your dispersion. Now you can choose, forgive me, I don't even know if I need these bags, but I don't like deleting things because I don't know how to get them back if I realize I need to get them back. There we go. This little box, yeah, you could put your pilots in here. I don't need it. We can just use this box. Okay, so just a reminder, when you these are your promotion levels that you have to distribute. We get to pick 12 pilots. Some pilots are going to cost more to take, and some pilots will give you SO points. And all that represents is if you're choosing a really advanced, like a stealth plane, you're going to have to pay extra SO points to get those, because those are limited resource planes. Also, we can promote a pilot. So if I don't want to start with a newbie, for example, I can promote him to green. I just have to spend 18 SO points to do that. And this is small, medium, and long campaign. I'm sorry, short, medium, and long. So anytime you see the three numbers, we're always using the rightmost number because we're playing the long campaign. So we can also, with the optional rules, add these three rules, and that costs SO points as well. And I don't play with any of the optional rules. I don't. These make the game easier. Well, actually, yeah, they do, because see, look, I have to spend SO points to get those optional rules. And these are here because DVG knows that you're making the game easier by doing these options. So you start with less SO points to balance it out. Obviously, with special weapons, you're going to spend one per. There's a tanker, which you could use that lets you ignore the weight point penalty. Remember, so for example, here's our carrier on the arrow. To go to a mission that's out here in this band, you're going to have a weight point penalty of 4 because it costs you so much fuel to get there. You have to use 4, I'm going to say the word pounds, or 4 weight worth of bombs less. So if you have a bomb that weighs 1 weight point, some bombs weigh 2 weight points or even 3 weight points. The point though is that you have to wear, you could only equip, if your plane can hold 12 weight points worth of bombs, you can only bring 8 on the mission. However, if you spend an SO point here, and it's just 1 SO point, you can ignore that. So that's a really useful thing, and it's why you want to keep some SO points for the campaign. Because I don't think some leader games let you earn SO points, like B-17 leader, Flying Fortress leader. You gain SO points while you're playing, and in fact, I design my campaigns knowing I'm going to get SO points. So, for example, I never get any escort fighters when I create a campaign with them because I know I can purchase those later. I think this is one of those games where once you use an SO point, you never get them back. Like they're a resource you gotta be really stingy about throughout the campaign. And then R&R is something you can do as like a little bit of a bonus in between days, campaign days, where you get to remove stress. And let me just tell you that the way I play cool, which is a attribute on all the pilots, that the cool value reduces the amount of stress you get when you go on missions. I value that really highly, more than anything else on most pilots. However, when you do a long campaign, I pretty much assume I have to do R&R at least once. Somewhere in the middle of the campaign, I need to do an R&R. And so I always try to make sure I have 9 so I can do exactly that. Sometimes there's a card that makes you lose SO points, so you need to have spare SO points just to deal with those random events. You lose the game if you don't have it. It's a little lame actually, but it is something to bear in mind. The recon, you could spend 2 to draw 2 more targets. This can be useful because like you get to go on a main mission and a secondary, but the secondary is only possible if it says secondary on the card. So you want to go on as many secondaries as you can every day, and every campaign day. And so that's something to bear in mind. And then, like I said, you could promote your pilots, which I don't do. I don't promote. This is way too expensive to spend 18 to promote a pilot. Just gain your experience points the old-fashioned way. Which is why you want to do secondary missions, so you get as many pilots going out. Now, if a pilot does not go on a mission, they actually recover stress equal to their. They recover 2. It's almost like an R&R. They recover 2 stress plus they're cool. See. I don't know if it says that on here anywhere, but that is true. And we can grab it out of the book. But so so during the debriefing, all pilots do stress recovery, and the stress recovery, if you didn't go on a mission at all, um, you recover, I think, 2 stress plus the plus your cool value. So you don't have to do R&R. If you're if you want to play the game where you're not doing a lot of secondary targets, and so you're only sending out half your planes on a given day, you could rest your high stress guys um, that way and get some stress back that way. Um, if you want to get the highest rating, you need to play a game where you're going after as many secondary targets as possible. That's a given. You gotta go after secondary targets because that's secondary targets is more victory points. Now the other thing you got to understand is secondary targets is also more experience points. So you want experience for your pilots because the more you experience them up, level them up, the better they get. This game is a lot like Civilization or other games where the start of the game is the hardest, and then as the game progresses and your pilots get more experienced, it actually gets almost too easy. Like it just gets easier and easier. I sort of wish they had almost like an end game boss, or if it was like the Marines here, where these targets down here were really challenging, and you got to level up as you progress through the bands, and then once you finally get to these ones, that's the final level. It, these games would really benefit from that. But I'm digressing. Okay, so we need, as we said, 12 planes. So I have a guide here of what I like for each type of plane. And oh my gosh, North Korea's 2013. I didn't realize that. So that's the only one that uses stealth. That's lame. Syria also uses stealth. I mean, Syria would work because they're sort of in bed with Russia, right? And Iran. So instead of North Korea, it would be Syria. I mean, we could do that. It's only 7 days. It's a lot less. They use the 6 SO points are free. Oh, look at that. The Russians are tougher. See, this is only standard difficulty. It's not that hard. So why would I want to do this? Because I wanted to use stealth planes. North Korea is 2013. And if we flip back over, the stealth planes are 2014. So we don't have stealth available to us. Are the stealth planes good? No. They're okay. They add a neat little mechanic to the game, which is why you want to do the later ones. Now the Growlers, of course, are only 2011 and better. So Alpo is the first one we're going to select, and you can see here I put in my notes. He levels up to veteran with only 15 experience points, so he levels up extremely fast. So he's a candidate to be at the noob or green level. He usually gets the ace before the others. So you got to go in here and find Alpo, which was our first one here. And then we also have to find Alpo. So what we do is we get to put the pilot here. They got a little spot for the aircraft right there. And you can see there's your little token. And like I said, I don't trust these cards. So we'll go ahead and grab Alpo, and we'll figure out promotion levels in a bit. But just like the NFL draft, for our first selection, we're going to get the Growler Alpo. And now, why is it called a Growler? It's a G, EA18G. So it's a special type of Hornet. It's got ECM jamming that causes enemies to get -1 to their rolls and -1 from attack rolls targeting this particular aircraft. So he gets and he can only equip AGM 120s and 88s and an ECM pod. So he's really limited in what he can equip, but this is basically an ECM jammer type of pilot. So anyways, that's pilot 1. And I wish I had these sorted by year. I don't. But if we keep going down, the Prowlers you can see go up to 2011. So we're going to use these for the medium group. But I don't really recommend any of them. Crunch happens to have the better ATG. But Moon has the better cool value. So, choose whichever one you want. We might choose one just because we might be short on pilots here. But moving down, remember it's a 2013 mission, so we can use all the Hornet Cs, but we want to save these for the World War III. So let's start with the Hornet E. And that gets to my next question. I think those Hornets are going to cost me some extra money. So when we're selecting our pilots, right here, the E costs an extra 6 SO points. The F costs 12. And those, the F-35s, which we don't get to use, would have cost us 18. So we're going to have to spend some points here. Yeah, we're going to have a pilot shortage. That's what this is doing to us. So we start the game with 80 SO points. That is a lot of points. And because they give you 5 SO points a day, you never have to spend SO points on missions. It's just not a thing you have to worry about. So you have all that going for you. So I have, let's see, I ended up deleting because I'm hitting my keys. So I have 2 here and 1 here that I recommend. And I think I'm going to take all 3. So let's at least do that, because I got to get these higher level Hornets off the board, or otherwise I'm going to have a jam here. So let's start with Bigfoot. It says, quite possibly my favorite pilot in the game. And that is true. The Slick is not, like, and you can see I have a whole bunch of them here that I don't mind. I recommend all 4 of these. Bacon as well, and then Slick, and Toon, of course, needs to be higher level. But let's do Bigfoot here. And grab Bigfoot. See, like this one looks like it actually might be correct. The numbers are at least not 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's like the guy didn't finish these. I have no idea how I could edit this. Because if I could edit this, the text that's written on this, I would have, I would fix it, because it is really nice. It's a great idea. So newbie is a 4. No, it doesn't. It's still broken. All right, fair enough. I got to get 12. So one thing I do know, and I may not have them listed here. I don't. Like, I might have to grab the other growler, even though I don't recommend him. Just because, um, yeah, I mean, this is going to be expensive. So, with the Hornet F, I'm going to have to pay 12 SO, and then I'm going to have to spend 12 more because I'm going to get 2 of the E's. Oh, I also took a G. So this is 18 and 12. So that's 30 points I just spent. So we're down to 50, which is still a lot. Um, yeah, I start with 80. So we're down to 50 because he cost 6. All right, so these two, Tigger and Doc. Um, so he has the best stats, but he's slow the whole game. This one levels the veteran in just 14 and only 18 to ace. Start him green, not noob. But basically, his noob has a crap ton. It takes a long time to level up from noob to green. So Doc needs to start green. So if we do Doc, and then Tigger, and mind you, we already paid for all these. And my memory is horrible. Doc is the one that needs to be green, so I'm going to move him down to green just to show that. And then I'm going to leave Alpo here. I'm going to represent these like this to show that I don't know what level I want them to be. Yeah, we'll figure it out later. All right, then we need Doc and Tigger out of here. I keep forgetting I could type. Now, here's the other thing. I don't have my AWACS listed. So Brick is one of them. And where's the other AWACS? Eyes. So let's grab those as well. Brick and eyes. I only have 2 AWACS in the game. And if I use both of them on this campaign, that means I have none for this one. But I think I'm okay with that. I'm going to go ahead and use them here. Now, what do? They let you ignore events and give situational awareness. And then also, as you level them up, the situational awareness goes up. And here you can see at ace, he gets +1 on all air-to-air and air-to-ground rolls. And then let's move this one up. And this is +1 on all your air-to-air rolls. So do I really want to put both of them in this campaign, or do I want to split them? I probably want to split them. I just don't know the best way to do it. I would say let's give eyes to these guys. And Brick here. And what's likely going to happen is I'm going to have to take some pilots I don't normally like to take, just because I need so many pilots to fill out my roster here. All right, so Duck would go here and Tigger would go there. All right, so I have to fill out everything. I got to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got to get 7 more planes. Holy buckets. Um, so this is where it gets tough because I've already taken the ones I really, really like. Now, when we get to here, you can see this goes up to 1997, right? So, for example, we definitely want Kraken. And we can also take Tomcats for air-to-air. So I need to reserve the air-to-air for down here with these guys. So Tomcats can serve our air-to-air purposes. And then some of these you can see they're great stats, but only if they're veteran or ace. So it depends, you got to be careful, what you do. So Buzz and Haas are two that I absolutely love to take. So let's do those. And then also understand that the Corsairs are going to give us 12 SO points. So if I take Buzz and Haas, I'm going to get 12. So this would put me to 66. So let me grab Buzz and Haas out of here. Okay, so this is what I'm going to have to do. And then, like I said, I can grab some, for air-to-air, I can grab Tomcats. So I use the old Bombers and the Tomcats. That'll fill up a lot of this roster. I don't need a lot of Hornets in the middle crew. And so when we get to the Hornet Cs here, I can take all 4 of these, for example, over in the advanced stage if I really wanted to. I don't. So, but what I have to do is I have to have air-to-air over in the new crew because I don't have Tomcats in the new crew. Tomcats is a one-trick pony. It's air-to-air only. Whereas with these guys, you got more versatility. So Hunter is an air-to-air expert. So I definitely want Hunter with the new crew, for example. And Bear, of course, is all around great. So that one I probably also want in the new crew. With the Tomcats, I can take more than... You can see I'm recommending 5 of them. It's just that Teflon's the best among them. And so when I'm like picking my crew, I may only need 1 Tomcat. But I would probably also take Sparky or Farm Boy or something like that. And then, anyways, you could see the idea here, right, of how you fill them out. Now, the Corsairs, or I'm sorry, the Harriers, that's going to be more hairy, pun intended. I got to pick 12 of these, and you can see I only recommend 5. So I'm going to have to dig into these other ones. I don't. So right here, you can see I actually put a note that he has great air-to-air, so I'm definitely going to take him. And then this one has no cool but awesome stats. And so you can see I actually have 7 that I can grab. So I got to grab 5 more to get to my 12. So I'm going to basically almost take the entire roster. Because if I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more, there's only 2 I'm not taking. So that's the thing to understand. So with the Marine campaign, almost the entire crew is going. I'm basically just picking which 2 is not going to go. And I apologize. It's board game night, and so I'm going to go play with some real people. and I have to stop here. So thanks for watching. Um, I'll try to do more of this in between the videos, so I'm not boring you too much, but you get the gist, and you can do whatever you want. You could randomly draw pilots, etc. But we're going to fill up the whole board here. We're going to have 36 pilots, 3 campaigns. It's going to be glorious. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome.